Hello and welcome to another tutorial on how to set macros on your Xbox controller. It could be any other controller, but we're just going to stick with Xbox controller because that was what the previous tutorial was. And I am fully aware that there are, if anything, older software that you can probably download nowadays, but those are old proprietary software such as Xpatter and Joy2Key. And hey, I don't blame you if you can get, Steam Big Picture mode to work. Actually, that is a kind of a nice alternative to use. But for me, I like to stick with Antimicro. Now, you have two choices. I'll leave, the links in the description. You can get the really old one that I still use for some odd reason. And then there is this new one right here, which is Antimicro X, which, as you can see, it's, updated recently. So, if you want to get the old one, obviously you want to go for the first one right here. And then as for, Windows user, it should be pretty obvious that you go with this one right here, the first one. That one's a Debian package. That one's a standalone package if you want to just have it as a standalone. So that one's pretty nice. But these two are for Linux. But if you use Windows, obviously you want to go with this. I think this should work even if you utilize an Intel CPU, even though it says AMD 64. I think it just meant to say 64-bit. So yeah, why don't we go ahead and install this since I still happen to use the old one. Alright, after you download the software and of course you double click on it, you're going to have this pop up. Let's go ahead and continue through. Yeah, GNU, General Public License, the usual. I'll go with the first one. Might as well create a desktop icon. Doesn't really matter. Usual path. I don't mind that. Yeah, just have it called that. Okay, that one's pretty much good to go. Next, we're going to need to, of course, do one more additional step so that way we can make this a whole lot easier. Alright, so next we're going to just go ahead and hit the super key, or you can hit the Windows key, and then we're going to type in anti. And let's make sure we click on this one right here, because we're going to use the newer one and not the old one. Let's go ahead and open file location. Then we're going to right click on this. And we're going to go to properties. And then we're going to go to compatibility. And then we're going to check mark this. Run this as an administrator. And then we'll hit apply. And then we'll hit OK. The reason why we need to do this is because this program will not work in Blueburst unless this program has administrative privileges, which is rather annoying. And just to show what this program would look like if you just didn't have the administrative privileges turned on, this bottom bar will pop up. But if you have enabled it, you shouldn't be seeing this anymore. Alright, here we are. Let's see what happens when I turn this on. There we go. Okay. Oh, I see it actually remembers my old profile. Well, we don't have to worry about that. What I'm going to go is brand new. There we go. Nice. Okay. So, for starters, I think it's very important that we just troubleshoot to see if this controller actually even works to begin with, because nobody likes a faulty controller. So far, so good. Everything seems to work. Except this one. And that's probably why I use an older version of it, because the guide button actually works on the older version of Antimicro. I don't understand it, but hey, majority of the buttons work, and that's what matters. So, I think, if anything, if you haven't played PSOBB, I can tell you what might be useful, and not so useful. But if anything, I think we can all tell that this is never going to be used. And depending on if you use these two or these two, you got some free space here. And especially when you click these buttons, these are also free. So essentially what we have here is, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then 9 and 10. And then we also have 11 and 12 as well. So there's a lot of possibilities of what you can do here. So, hey, why don't we go ahead and just set that up here. Let's see. Yeah, we'll go with this one. Yeah. We'll go with 1. This will be 2. Yeah, this will be 3. This will be 4. There you go. And then we'll have to scroll up. Let's see. Yeah, why not? This will be, we'll make this 5. This will be 6. And 7. And let's make this 8 as well. Okay, and then these triggers, since they have no use, unless you've done it so differently. Oh yeah, you want to click here for that one. So this will be 9. And this will be 10. Or 0, I meant to say, sorry. Okay. So what I've essentially have is basically the most basic macro you can ever have. And if you haven't seen the updated video, apparently if you were to hold down the swap button palette, which is on the control key, or maybe you have it set to the right bumper, yeah, you could essentially just have even more options, and maybe you could just do away with this. So let's go ahead and use this in action, and you can see, you know, how I utilize this very basic kind of nonsense. All right, are you ready to be absolutely disappointed about this simplistic setup that I have? It's pretty bad, honestly speaking, because I think having to rely on the right analog stick to do, you know, the shift to D band, it's pretty bad. And then having to cast Jalen and Zalier, yeah, I used to, I still play it like this. Let's just be honest, it's pretty bad. And then of course I have Resta to the trigger. So if I happen to encounter a Dark Flow user, for those who don't know what Dark Flow is, it's a big yellow sword that hunters use to do a shotgun wave blast to an enemy. It does a lot of damage, but the problem is that their HP has to be low. So in order for me and others to, you know, well, how I do it anyway, to not accidentally heal anybody, I just have to grip the controller and never raise my index finger to touch this. So that way I won't accidentally cast Resta. And of course I would have, you know, Reverser here to revive anybody. Of course you could have Moon Atomizers instead. You know, perhaps I'd rather have Moon Atomizers on the Force instead, because there's a casting animation that I have to do. So that's fun. And of course I have range text from here. And then down here I would have anti, which, yeah, it's not the greatest thing in the world. Of course, likewise, you know, I would have simple text techniques. Yeah, I was simple techniques at the very top. And then, of course, I would have the G techniques, you know, at the palette instead. Yeah. Likewise, I'm just going to be spamming my Gifoy. Yeah. Which is, you know, that's fun, right? Just spamming Gifoy 24/7 with my what merge do I have on this bad boy? Let me see. Yeah, of course it's the Gifoy merge. Is anybody remotely surprised? Oh Lord. Yeah. Yeah, by the way, I have these buttons switched if you're wondering why. So, yeah, that's how I play for a Force. Yeah. I'm also just to show other aspects of what I do. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you do away with this. Really, it might just be better if you just, you know, utilize the control functionality. Oh, well, you know, I must have had that set up. And, huh. Yeah, that might work. Yeah. I guess I must have had have this set up long ago. Oh, well, that's good. So maybe I don't have to rely on this. But yeah, that's something to really think about whenever you switch to a different palette. So, yeah. Maybe I won't have this set up the whole time, yeah. Alright, something I want to also share with you. So, I think eventually you're going to learn about server commands. So right now, what I just did is just another typical PW4 Gigu run. Okay, the usual shenanigans. So, why don't we go ahead and get to those server commands that you can actually have to your shortcuts. That's right. It's pretty, and it's not like anything I have here is unique. But let's say you don't want to touch your keyboard and you want to have it set to your controller. Well, we could do that. Why don't we go ahead and switch to here. So that was the right click, right? Which is this one. There we go. Let's go ahead and click on that. Let's go ahead and put shift. I'm going to go to advanced. There we go. And then this, we'll click here. We'll just F12. Let's go ahead and close that and close this. And let's see if this works. Let's see. Moment of truth. Hey, well, you know. Huh. That's pretty neat, right? Something if you want to, do that boring hunt that I used to do long ago. Now, something that you see from keyboard users, they have an advantage of being able to just turn like this without having to move forward or anything like that. So why don't we implement this on our controller? That would be nice, right? So let me go ahead and switch to the program right here, and let's set it to the D-pads right here. So, let's set this this one to A. Yeah. And then we'll set this one to D. There we go. And then, let's see. Let's go ahead and get back to the game right here. And what do you know? I'm able to actually do that, which is pretty cool. And these guys won't be able to hurt me at all. Huh, there you go. Pretty nice. Oh no. The huge threats. Oh, actually, here, can I? Yes, I can. Although the rappies are going to actually constantly nag me. Although the Belros have yet to really hurt me at all. Yeah, okay. Fun time's over. Here, let's just... There we go. Yeah. Hopefully that's something I could share you with. Well, I don't know how to summarize this, but basically, Antimicro is a pretty nifty software. I like it because it's, well, minimalist, it's lightweight. I don't have to deal with Steam's big picture mode or whatever that nonsense is. Yeah. Or perhaps maybe you have people who just don't even want to bother with that to begin with. So I kind of like it. There's probably a lot I have missed. Maybe there is like the layer mode, or, well, heck, I mean, switching to a different palette, or if you were to use, or if you hit control key, you have even more options. So there's probably a lot more that you can do with this nonsense, but hopefully you find this to be useful. I tried the best I can, but hopefully this will make your gaming experience a lot more fun. Yeah.